Good morning, dear hearts. We are beginning our 9th special central relevant thought, and it is, what is the second coming? So I'm going to read a couple of the paragraphs of this thought, and then we will go in and do our lesson for the day, which is 301. So what is the second coming? Christ's second coming, which is sure as God, is merely the correction of mistakes and the return of sanity. The return of sanity we can interpret as meaning the end of sin, because sin is insanity, as we learned when we had that as our relevant thought. So the second coming is the end of all sin and the return of sanity, the return of our right-mindedness. It is a part of the condition that restores the never lost and reestablishes what is forever and forever true. Reestablishes the truth. And it's reestablishes because the truth has already been established, but we have forgotten it. We have misplaced it. We put it over, oh, I don't need this right now. So with the second coming, truth comes back home to us. We remember what the truth is. It was in truth, never really lost. It was simply misplaced, didn't believe it was important at the time. Same thing we do with our peace. We misplace it, we give it away. And then at some point, oh, I really need that. So it is something that is, our peace then is restored to us when we are ready to reestablish our mind in a state of peace. The second coming is the invitation to God's word to take illusion's place, God's promise, the willingness to let forgiveness rest upon all things without exception and without reserve, without exception. One of the things that I speak of it often whenever the lesson seems to go in that direction is the equality of this course. Without exception, there is not one part of the sonship, not one brother, not one sister that is not deserving of our love. There is not one part of the sonship that is separate from God's love. There is not one part of the sonship that is forgotten and is not addressed and given everything, because God's love gives everything to everyone. And I did not say everybody, to everyone. It is the oneness. It is the equality of the truth of heaven, of the second coming, the remembering of all that is forever, and all that is true forever, and all that is loved forever. The second paragraph, and I have the first line highlighted because it's so important, I believe. It is the all-inclusive nature of Christ's second coming that permits it to embrace the world and hold you safe within its gentle advent, which encompasses all living things with you. And those of you who have been doing this with me for a while know how I love that phrase, all living things. Because again, it speaks of the equality. It speaks of the oneness, the inclusiveness. Nothing is left apart. Nothing is left out. All is included. Every brother that we see, every sister that we see, every living creature that we see, all living things are given God's love. And are we to not do that as well? All living things. And the second coming will be recognized. It's the all-inclusive nature of it, that as we embrace all of God's creations and bestow our love upon them as God does, this is when the shift in this world will happen, and it will become for us the real world that is pristine, that is clean, that is lit with radiance and brilliant. And we all will remember that indeed we are the light of the world. There is no end to the release the second coming brings, as God's creation must be limitless. Everything from God is limitless, timeless, eternal. Forgiveness lights the second coming's way because it shines on everything as one. And thus is oneness recognized at last. Recognized. Oneness is finally recognized and welcomed in, which is our true state of being. Our true state is not in separateness. Our true state, where our mind lives and thrives, is in oneness. Today's lesson, 301. And God himself shall wipe away all tears. All tears. The first part of it is the prayer. Father, unless I judge, I cannot weep. Unless I judge, I cannot weep. My sadness always comes from my judgments, because my judgments have placed me believing I am separate from something else, separate from all living things. And as I have judged something, then I will suffer the consequences. I will suffer the guilt. I will suffer the pain and the sadness because I have judged against another brother, another part of the sonship. So unless I judge, I cannot weep, nor can I suffer pain or feel I am abandoned or unneeded in the world. This is my home because I judge it not, and therefore it is only what you will. My will, my separate will, my will that I think is different from my Father's, I have removed from this world so that I can inhabit the real world, that this world will be translated into what is real, the truth of what was created. So let me today behold it unencumbered, uncondemned. Through happy eyes, forgiveness has released from all distortion. Let me see your world instead of mine, and all the tears I shed will be forgotten, for their source is gone. And Father, I will not judge your world today. And the tears I shed will be forgotten because their source is gone. We spoke about this. The ego is the source. And as we simply lay it down, the source of all the ego thoughts and all the ego pain, and indeed the ego does bring us pain and guilt and wrong-minded thinking, separateness. But as the source is laid down, it is gone, then every tear that I may have ever shed will be forgotten. And now we begin the second part, which is the text, and the first line says pretty much everything. God's world is happy. God's world is happy. We are meant to be happy. We are meant to be joyous. That is God's will for us. Father, I will not judge your world today. I will not judge your will for me today. God's world is happy. Those who look on it can only add their joy to it and bless it as a cause for further joy in them. Creation expands. And so as happy as God's world is, and as much joy as there is, as we enter it and we add our joy to it, it expands and expands and extends. That is God's will for us. Perfect peace and happiness. Remember that lesson? Perfect peace. We wept because we did not understand, but we have learned the world we saw was false, and we will look upon God's world today. We had a lesson, 198, way back, and the lesson said that only my condemnation injures me, and only my forgiveness sets me free. It was the prayer towards the end of the lesson. So my forgiveness sets me free, and that allows me to be in God's happy world, where we all belong. So that's it for today. I hope it helped. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please smile. Please smile. Please be happy today. We will be together in God's world. And just pray that these awarenesses come to every mind, and peace will be the condition of us, all of us, and of this world. Namaste.